And we are live. Welcome to the Uncensored Entrepreneurs. Today we have our special guest, Dr. Teresa Pantanella. She is a doctoral level occupational therapist turned Facebook ad expert and AI enthusiast. So you'll be looking forward to how she made that transition. After 24 years of spending time in her doctoral level career, she contributed another 10 years the past 10 years in the internet marketing space, including SEO, Google and Facebook ads.
Yeah.
She specializes in Facebook advertising and has generated 3x revenue in the amount of ad spent for her award-winning clients. This means that your advertising essentially becomes absolutely self-funding. So we look forward to it. Stay tuned, and we'll see you on the inside.
Welcome to the Uncensored Entrepreneurs. Christina, I'm just going to tell you, I love when your mom pops in because I feel like we have to be like on our best behavior.
I think I'm the worst behaved out of all of you, so don't worry. My mom's got this.
I'm like, hey, Mom. And then I'm like,
I know, she's the best. I appreciate you, Mom. Thanks for always commenting. Like, this is what we need for emotional support sometimes when we're building business, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm so excited for today because we have Dr. Teresa here with us talking about Facebook advertising and AI. And this is such a wild world. You know, there are policies that are changing all of the time. There are new technologies that are popping up everywhere. But if you don't play the game, then you don't get the result, right? Because there's so many people that are out there playing the game. And so you've got to be a part of it. You've got to learn about it. But I really, and I'm going to be honest with you, Teresa, I wrestle with this. I really wrestle with this because I know that business is relationship built and it's based on your connection with other people. And so I'm so excited to open this up to you and hear a little bit more about you and why you've shifted into this space. I'm so excited to hear about how you're using this to your advantage and helping your clients get amazing results. And how we bring the person, the relationship, the people into business using ads and using AI and using that, you know, connection.
Tying it all in together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And before we do a deep dive into that, because I'm just as interested, quite frankly, right? Each and every one of us are coaches. We hear this from our clients on a regular basis as well. And as Christina said, we even struggle sometimes with, do we go with organic? Do we go with paid ads? Which platform should we concentrate on, right? All those things. But tell our audience a little bit about yourself and how in the world do you take a career in occupational therapy and then migrate into this space?
I love that question. I love that question. Yes. And there are so many different aspects of the ads that I can help you out with and have to shed light on things for you. It was a rainy day. I had an outdoor business and, I had 7 locations, outpatient therapy, 4 of them were outside. And when it would rain here in South Florida, sometimes it rains for 10 minutes, sometimes it rains for days. Well, we had one of those summers where it kept raining for days. And when that happens for our patients that are scheduled outside, we have to rearrange everything. And then I have to boost morale with the employees and the team. And wow, the 4th or 5th time it happened during the summer, it kind of hit me that I just wasn't that interested in solving the problem again. And it was a real wake-up call. And I can encourage any entrepreneur that's listening or anyone that listens to the replay to think about when you have that enthusiasm stops, walk away for a few days and get some downtime. And I had to really think through, why am I still doing this? yeah, I lost a lot of interest in it. And it was like, when I graduated with my bachelor's degree, I thought, okay, I'm going to do this for 20 years. And it was 24 years. And cash flow was always an issue. Anybody that's worked in healthcare can tell you that. And I went to these business gurus and like, oh, you've got two choices. I'm like, oh, great. Oh, you can close it or you can sell it. And I'm like,
Like, that's what I pay you for.
Yeah, what's your plan B, right? What's your exit plan?
exactly. They're like, do we have a plan C here? So I realized, let's go with the fun part. Love the marketing. So in 2014, I decided I want to be location independent and focused on making videos for people. They love the videos. They came out great. I love putting the music to them, figuring out the scenes and the message that would go with it. And then I would pass it off to the client. The client would, well, I thought you were putting it on the website. Oh, I thought you were putting it on the website.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, customer's always right. And I was
Yes.
like, okay, I will figure this out. And I did. And through my journey there, I encountered two gentlemen living nearby in West Palm Beach, and they were all about doing something called SEO. And I'm like, well, what is that? And they were these gurus in the neighborhood. I was like, oh, okay. They're right here in my backyard. I joined their mastermind, got really good at it because I didn't know any better. They had all the instructions laid out. I just followed the instructions, got really good at it, started building websites for home-based services and ranking the websites and doing lead generation for roofers and HVAC contractors. They said, Teresa, you're so good at this. Will you stay on board with the ladies? Sure. It was a win-win situation. And one day, one of the ladies said, wow, this is great. How do we do this with Facebook ads? And I'm like, I don't know. It's not in the instructions.
Let me figure that out.
Let me go to the book.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, Tina. Exactly. And one of the gals knew enough about Facebook ads to be dangerous. And she showed me some dangerous stuff. It's not pleasant to be dangerously good. No. Made a lot of mistakes. Found a few different mentors, joined another mastermind, started spending hundreds of dollars, and went to different summits and conferences and realized I knew enough that I could be teaching it. Now, for your coaches, you know, when you're teaching something, you learn it even deeper. Yes. So I would put together a course here and a course there. And what happened for me was I came across this woman that I really envied. She was just amazing at what she could do with a Facebook ad. And in the mastermind group we were in, she posted a job offer. And I was like, oh, to work for her. Oh, wow. Cool.
Right.
Yeah. Took me 3 months to get the job. Got the job. First day I started as the junior media buyer. Her senior media buyer quit. Yeah.
Instant promotion.
Yeah. So once again, there's no instructions.
Yeah.
Here's 11 ad accounts. This is the purpose of each one. Oh yeah. Here's the client meeting schedule. Yeah. My life stopped for like a month, but she walked right there step by step. Jamie Harmon O'Connor. She was great.
Wow.
And yeah, she was amazed at what I could do. She was amazed how I picked up the ball and ran with it. And it was through her tutoring me and when I already knew that I got really, really, really good at it. Yeah.
You know what's interesting about this is you've mentioned many times, you know, the pursuit of like chasing after a dream, getting really, really good at something that you knew nothing about, right? And all of these things that you're mentioning, by the way, I know they resonate with me. And I'm sure I'm speaking for my co-host, but they should be resonating with the audience. And the fact that that's what entrepreneurialism is all about, right? It's that journey of, it doesn't mean that you have it all figured out. You know,
Right.
your background wasn't even in this field yet. You knew, and you and I talked the other day, that it was really the people that you were interested in. And so as you kind of on this pursuit of helping someone solve a problem, which in this case, it was advertising, probably, again, I'm only speaking for myself here, but that is definitely my Achilles heel. I'd rather spend time, serving someone and not thinking about my marketing and advertising. So, you're solving a major problem, and you continue to drive that home into where now you've mastered certain elements of that along the way. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I encourage anyone that when you're looking at that hill going up and you're thinking, how am I going to get there? Just take one step at a time. And when you get to the step, if you've got a roadblock, you look at ways around it. Maybe you've got to pick up a new course. Maybe there's just something you don't know. Maybe there's a teacher that is waiting for you because, when the student's ready, the teacher shows up. So stop and think about where you're at and where you want to get to, and know that path's not always straight. It is zigzagged.
Yeah. Wow, that is so true. What are your thoughts, everyone, in regards to like Facebook ads? I know you've done a lot of different things. I know that you specialize in Facebook ads, so we'll be talking about that. But specifically, there's this journey of paid, organic, and most people steer away from paid because they don't understand it, or they've used someone in the past that unfortunately didn't serve them as well as they could, right? Oh. That's me. I'm just saying that is me.
Me too.
Yeah. So we're definitely looking forward to talking about that.
And I think it's so hard too, because when you are relationship focused, like all of us are, we all love to speak firsthand with our clients all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be on the call with them. I don't want to give it to my sales team or whatever. I want to be that first person. So it's kind of hard to not have that relationship, that organic relationship with them. And they just kind of appear from Facebook, So how do you bridge that gap?
And are you speaking of the gap, Tina, between yourself and the potential client?
Or you can just have like that relationship gap. That online.
Like your qualified leads, Tina, like finding your preferred qualified leads that are like, okay, they're coming in from the ads and you're actually being able to talk to people that are already qualified, as opposed to an ad maybe going viral and having a bunch of people see it, but there's no comments and no interest.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'll start at the beginning. Organic versus paid. A paid ad should be the fuel on a fire that's already happening on your organic ad. So start over here with organic.
Yes.
See what people are responding to, whether it be your offer. Look at different graphics. Sometimes you just need to take the same message and put a different graphic with it. And Canva's got some amazing AI tools within it that allows you to take that same graphic and transform it into a retro style, or put like a color shade over it, like a solid color shade. And the thing to bear in mind, it's not what you like, it's what your ideal client likes. And you might not like the same things.
Yeah.
So don't fall in love with that image that you just created and it's so fantastic and wonderful, and why would I ever change that? So here over in the organic space, this is where the play starts. And then once you have that message and graphic or video dialed in, then you come over here to paid ads and you look at, okay, this is great. How else could it be better? Because you do want to start to put some money behind it. You don't have to go crazy and do $100 a day. You can do $20 a day, $10 a day, $50 a day. But keep an eye on it. Just because it worked over here in organic isn't 100% assurance it's going to work over here in paid, because who you have over here in paid, you pick who sees that ad, and you may not have the right audience. There's different components to making an ad successful. That message and graphic and video, those are your first key ones, and you can test those out on a paid ad at a very low cost, and that keeps it simple. Like, let's say you've got a message that's working, and then you think, okay, let me use ChatGPT and come up with some other variations of this. You come with the variations, and then you test them at $5 a day. Just keep it simple.
I'm glad you're mentioning that, by the way, because most people already have kind of the stigma. They're already fearful of a paid ad, thinking, I don't have the budget for this. It's going to be extremely expensive. And I'm so glad that you mentioned like $5 a day, right?
Yeah.
And also testing, right? Like people think, okay, well, I'm going to put some ad behind this. I'm going to get all this funnel of leads coming in. It's going to be amazing. But it often takes some time and energy to test different things and figure out what's actually going to work with your audience. Because like you said, Teresa, it's not a matter of this is the best piece of content I have. This video is amazing, right? Like you think it's the best. And then your audience doesn't pick up what you're putting down because you're seeing it through your filter. And so I really appreciate you, the honesty behind, hey, you know what? It might take a month to test a few ads. It might take 6 months to find the thing that's going to work. But when you do find the thing that works, putting more ad dollars behind it, that's where the magic happens, right?
That's where the explosion happens. That's the fireworks. That's the happy place. Absolutely.
Dr. Pantanella, I know there's like different types of ads. So for someone who's just starting out, say a coach or someone in the online space, what type of ad do you recommend? Because I know I've done like list building ads to collect emails. There's some where you can just, people are just watching your video for awareness purposes. And then there's the conversion ads where people are actually checking out and purchasing. And I feel like a lot of people are like, I'm going to run this ad and get a sale. And if they don't get a sale, it's like, oh, these ads aren't working. I don't want to put the money behind it anymore.
That's a great question, Star, and very well phrased. And it does go back to your question about the relationship building. There are different objectives or different types of ads you can use. And yes, using videos for awareness is fantastic. Now, what's key is knowing where else you can use them. You can also use that for retargeting at a very low cost. Each of those types of ads come with a different price tag on them. A video ad is your least expensive type of ad to run. You can use an engagement ad, which is also very inexpensive, but an engagement ad often invites just about everybody and their brother to say something or to comment. And it may not always be pleasant. So I kind of steer away from engagement ads.
Christina, do engagement.
Organic engagement and get feedback all the time. I would recommend just staying on the course with Dr.
Anything that Christina posts, she gets the haterade on there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to hit a sore point. But
no, it's part of growth. It's
she's all good about it.
So expand on that. You said your video ad is the least expensive ad to start with?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can use that throughout your funnel. I don't want to get too complicated for people. Like think of if you're reaching out to someone who's never heard of you, they're called a cold audience, and that's usually your top of funnel. So you definitely want to have something in regards to just a message for them that I don't want to say introduces you, but has a message that they can resonate with. It's a more general message usually at the top of funnel. And then as people get to know you, you're getting more into the nitty gritty of showing them the product or service.
Got it.
Right. And is this like a 2-minute video, a 5-minute video? Like how does the Facebook ad push it through to people that want to see it? And like, does it matter how much of the video they're watching? Is it going to be pushed out? Kind of like the algorithm with TikTok that they will put, a certain amount of people in front of you. And if people watch it all the way through, they'll put it in front of a bigger audience. Does it kind of work the same way?
Very similar. Very similar. Now, the length of the video, 2 minutes or less, is becoming like the ideal thing.
Okay.
Okay. There's still 1,000% value in having longer videos. Because in your middle of funnel, where you have a warm audience, they know you, they're going to hang out and watch those videos longer.
Right.
And Facebook does track how many seconds of a video people watch, and they break it down into percentages. So if you have your warm audience that's watching 50 to 75% of a long video, let's say it's 10 minutes or more, use that up in your cold audience.
Got it.
Got it. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Because then you know if your warm audience likes it,
right.
Well, let's see who else I could attract. Who else is going to like this? And start building the relationship there. And that way you're already attracting the people that are qualified and quality for your service or business. Yes. Now, at the very bottom of the funnel, when people are ready to buy, keep those videos. It's essential to keep those videos very short. You can do 15-second videos there. You can do 30-second videos there, 1-minute videos. Keep those videos short at the bottom of the funnel. Keep your message succinct and to the point, because they're ready to take action.
Right.
You've
Right. If they've gone that far down the journey, right?
Exactly.
And then they're vested at some point. Yes.
Exactly. And this is where the retargeting all happens. Like I mentioned, Facebook knows how long the video's been watched. You can say people that have watched more than 50% of my video, you want them to see your bottom of funnel ad now.
Got it. Interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so can
Okay.
you talk a little bit about how you're using AI as an advantage?
Yeah.
Because I know that some people are not using it to their advantage, right? We can all tell when we go on Facebook and see somebody's post written by ChatGPT, right? So how are you using AI to enhance your ads as opposed to do it for you?
Okay, there's a fun way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Is think of it as kind of like the idea person on your team. I've heard people say they like to name their chat GPTs. I highly encourage that. I like to use Cloud, CLAUDE.
Okay.
It's a similar product to chat GPT. It's actually built on a larger database. So you can input more information in there. It can accept something as large as the Bible and still operate. Whereas
Wow.
ChatGPT, after like 2,000 words, gets stuck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got these two types of, they're called large language models. We're all referring to them as AI because a large language model is a form of AI.
Mm-hmm.
There's others out there such as Llama is the one that Meta came up with. I've not played with it because I like what I've got right now. And this is one of the things like you talked about, it's like the Wild West right now. There's all these AI tools coming out.
Everything's AI nowadays, right?
Yeah. I'm an expert. And you're no, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do set aside 30 minutes a day just for AI. Pick out one tool to focus on for 5 days.
I love it.
Don't buy a year of any tool. Only buy 30 days. If you have to. There's so many free versions out there right now of these AI tools. Work with the AI tool. See if it really fits for you and your team. It's going to serve the purpose you want it to serve.
Yes.
And then if you do like it, then, set up your protocol within your business, how to use it. Like for me, I'm using ChatGPT and Cloud the same way. I'll give them the same prompt. I want to put together a campaign based on X. I give the same prompt, and it's all key to your prompts. What I like to do is I like to research the desires and pain points of the ideal buyer.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah. You want your desires and your pain points first, and then you also need to know the level of market sophistication. And this goes back to Eugene Schwartz's book, Breakthrough Advertising. He talks about 5 levels of market sophistication. One is where it's a brand new product to market. The second level is there's another company, somebody else has come up with a new iteration of that product. Okay. So think about like with cigarettes. They originally started cigarettes without filters. They started producing them without filters. The next iteration of that product was a cigarette with filters. So the market got more sophisticated. Now the middle level of that market is where there's a mechanism being used. There's something key about it. And think about like when women were identified as potential targets for smoking campaigns, then the mechanism was, look how sexy you can look with your cigarette.
Oh, taking it to that whole.
And then flavors, right? They kept adding.
Yeah.
The little long thing that you had. What is it?
Right.
That little long thing.
Yeah.
I've never been a smoker.
I haven't either. I had parents that smoked.
Yeah, you're talking about the holder, right? You're talking
right,
like the Audrey Hepburn, right?
That's accessorizing, Tina. I knew you would bring that up. It's all about the accessories, right? It's all about the accessories. No, that's true.
I love it. I love it. And then so your really big end of market sophistication. The perfect example of that is the automobile industry. How many ads a day do you see about a car? Yeah. That market is so sophisticated and it is saturated. They
Absolutely.
have to. Yeah.
And it's changed a lot over the years, right? Like
it has.
I study marketing as well as many people probably watching, and you're thinking performance of the car, but they're taking it to that whole next level where it's like, imagine yourself taking this cruise down the beach with your family, or imagine, you're taking your grandfather to the hospital for his cancer treatments. I mean, like they're really taking it to that level.
They are.
It has nothing to do with the car, but it has to do with the emotional experience.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And as you know, from marketing, feelings are a direct line to the subconscious.
That's right. Yes.
If you can instill in your client that feeling that they want to do more with you, that they want to like being, they want to be around you, that's gold. And that's where your message and your Facebook ads become so important. You know, think about that car ad that ran during the Super Bowl where the guy had to go get the binky.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's their hook. That's that. Yeah.
So Chat GPT in general, as Christina was first saying, you know, so many people, and I'm just using them as kind of the blanket, right? There's so many different AI versions of that now, but everyone was so fearful that that was going to replace their job. And how can you do that? You're going to lose touch, or, you know, your organic touch with your customers. And I've even found in my own experience, you still need to insert the soul, right? Like AI has not replaced the soul. And it, as far as I can see, it currently cannot. And so it's already knowing, as you're stating, your customers, understanding what's important to them, what's important to you, right? In your mission and your target. And then that still has to go into chat or AI before there's ever any kind of output. Do you get a little bit of resistance from that? I know you do a lot of course teaching and instruction on this. Do people usually bring this up? Like, how do I?
Constantly.
Okay.
It's a steady issue for people because they're generally speaking, people are groping and grasping and trying to cope with all of this information coming at them. And if you think about it, it's a paradigm shift.
Yes.
Like when the cotton gin came out and people started to attack the cotton gin. You know, they didn't know what to do with it. They're just trying to save their jobs. You know, so there are people that are going to like, oh, it's bad, it's awful. Well, it's here to stay. The cat's out of the bag. And do embrace it. Don't walk away from it. And do know that even though you can start your message on ChatGPT, you can start to write that email or blog post, it's not going to know you. You have to take it away from there, walk away from it, print it out, walk away from the computer and go read it out loud.
Absolutely. And I find it so intuitive, meaning that you have to continuously put in these layers, right?
Yes.
I don't know how many people here on the panel use it, but I know that if I put in my own words and I say, you know, wordsmith this to fit an audience of 12-year-olds, right? Because it's maybe something for my daughter's presentation or whatever. It will take my words or her words and it'll craft it and tailor it towards that audience. And you have to keep giving it more and more input, right?
Exactly.
Like warm this up, put in a love factor. Like you just continue to give these inputs. So I do appreciate it. And I do see that it requires that human soul again to kind of
does
the best product.
It really does. And anyone that doesn't take the time to look at it, like you said, you can tell it's just so painfully obvious.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. I sit in different copywriting classes every once in a while just to sharpen up my skills in that department. And one of the guys was laughing. He's looking at a landing page, one of the experts, and he said, "Did ChatGPT come up with this?"
Oh, that is so funny. Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting.
And I don't think it's going to replace 100% of the jobs. It's going to replace people that don't jump in and learn it.
That's right.
You still need discernment. You still need to be able to have that perception of what's good and what's not good. You still need to have a thinking individual at the helm of any position.
Yeah, that's true. Share with us a little bit about, and it's only, again, there's one level I have not ventured into yet. And that is kind of the depth of AI being physical videos, individuals, you know, like where they're talking, they're presenting. And I've seen some of your stuff where you've dabbled in that, right? And so tell us a little bit about that. I think it's interesting. I do see the need for it because I know that when I see a good ad And even if it is AI generated, I'm like, oh, well, the content is good.
Yeah.
And so I can kind of relate to that. But I also think it's just kind of, it's such an interesting time right now,
Is
the
it?
fact that
Yeah.
Tina could do an ad, using my face, which may give her a lot of followers. I don't know, but I'm just kidding. But
Or a lot of haters.
yeah, or a lot of haters, one or the other. I don't know, but it is interesting when I see some of this. What are your thoughts around that?
My thought is it's very scary. First of all, that is, and because unless you have discernment to know if it's true or not, it could become a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when we get to that level, right?
Exactly.
Like the level where the president is giving a message and it's not even the president any longer, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the scary part. So I encourage the listeners, really think twice if you hear something that's dissettling from an authority figure in your world. Really
Good
double
advice.
check yourself. Yeah. And ask around and do some investigation.
AI
Absolutely.
has gotten to be so interesting, but also very scary. I literally just seen an ad yesterday on TikTok that AI can scan your body and it can tell you the exact steps and reps and all the stuff to take and what kind of exercises to do to lose weight or whatever. And like you stand this way,
Crazy, right?
or you stand this way, and it's like, oh, for that little spot right there, and you're like, what little spot?
In that case, AI better be putting the food in my mouth as well, because there's no way they're going to keep me hungry.
And cooking it, washing the dishes too.
Yeah, that's right. That's so true.
Well, you know what? It's kind of interesting that you brought that up in terms of that type of a scanning. It's been around a long time, because they're using it for dresses, for dressmakers, for sizing. Yeah, so it's been around a long time. So it's not something brand new, but it is kind of like weird to kind of go, what do you mean you could scan my body? And yeah, and you can clone my voice, which made me, I just thought of this. If you do any kind of voice passwords, like on a bank account or a stock market account, change it, remove that permission. Yes, because we're in the Wild West right now. There's not rules around this. There's not law around it. Think about like when text messages were first being used. If a text message had evidence that could be used in a court of law, it couldn't be admissible because there was no law around that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to take a while for law to catch up with this.
Yeah.
So people, if you have 1 minute of your voice online, it can be cloned.
So we're all hooped. We're all there.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, so and so if you have anything that's voice activated for passwords, I would advise some caution around that. And then with the videos, like it was a very short process for me to complete what I did, what you probably saw right on my Facebook page. And it was basically me like standing here, like every once in a while my head would tip. But it was amazing how they could make my lips move.
Yes.
Yes, and it was this short process. I had ChatGPT come up with a script for me, and then I took that script, went into something called D-ID, and for $5 a month, they put me through basically like a 10-minute exercise where I stood here in front of the camera and read off of a teleprompter for 2 minutes. And the instructions on the teleprompter was like, I'm smiling, I'm taking deep breaths, I'm relaxed. So yeah, but from that 2-minute recording, they were able to clone my voice and my movements. And they came with this very scary thing. Now,
that movie Face Off, where
I know.
Nicolas Cage and like he took his face and he like spoke exactly like him, but he had like a little voice box or something.
Right.
That is scary.
Well, it is. Okay, now here's a really good use of some of this stuff.
Yes.
There's a style of cloning oneself that's called a deep fake. Now you need like really high level cameras. I think they're called 360 cameras or something like that.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. One of my mentors in the marketing world, he actually hired the camera team to come out and spend a Sunday afternoon, and they got all the video they needed of him to do a deep fake. And he showed us the deep fake of him talking, and we couldn't tell the difference. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, what he's using it for, and I think this is wonderful information for people out there, he's using it so that he gives this information. Now, all those cloning things he gave to his team. He's taking all of his programs and he's cloning them with him in different languages.
Oh, that's
Wow,
fantastic.
that's cool.
Is that brilliant or what?
That is
That's
cool.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Who needs to learn another language?
He didn't have to
have-
learn it.
I'll
Yeah.
just have my
Yeah.
Spanish version of Tina. Oh wait, I am the Spanish
You're the original.
Yeah.
version.
Right.
But you know, I do see that, and I also see for therapy,
Yeah.
and all kinds of uses, right? That's going to continue to stem from this. They even say a lot of times that if your affirmations are recorded in your own voice, right, it has a
Oh,
deeper
beautiful.
impact to you because we are our own worst coach in our head. So I can imagine at some point in time, you know, there will be these AI generated clones where you're
Ooh.
like basically telling yourself, you know, that you've got this and you can do this. And I mean, wow,
So wild, hey, to think about how this
It
is all going to
is
evolve. And like for those of us
wild.
that have kids, I remember, so my
Yeah.
noni, when she passed away, she was 104. And the one thing that she
God
couldn't
bless her.
wrap her mind around was
Mhm.
cell phones. Cause I'd be like, hey, I'm at work. I'm just talking to you from work. And she's like on her rotary phone at home, being like, how are you at work? Right. And you think of like all of the things she experienced, you know, the light bulb, electricity, refrigeration, television, vehicles, all of these things. And like, can you
Radio.
imagine radio? Can you
Yeah.
imagine
Yeah.
how much our life is going to evolve exponentially with this kind of technology, right?
Mm.
And so I love the awareness that you bring to it. I love that we talked a little bit about how you can use AI in you know, in coming up with ideas and you being the driver behind that.
Mm.
So I would also, I would kind of want to bring it back to the Facebook ads, if that's okay, and have,
Sure.
you know, have a conversation about when, like, obviously you have to have good performing organic content that's happening,
Yes.
bringing people in, right? But
Yes.
who uses this kind of service? Like, who are the right people to start putting Facebook ads out there? When are you ready to do that? When should you start spending money on this in business?
So just, I want to make sure I understand the question. When you say who are the right people in terms of like, where they at from a revenue perspective or an industry perspective, or?
Yeah. So, I mean, either like, I mean, all of us are coaches. And if you have
Okay.
a product or a service, you could probably use Facebook ads, I'd imagine. But
Absolutely.
I guess where you're at in your business, when do you decide that it's time after using organic reach forever? When do you decide that Facebook ads is a good investment for you?
Well, it's based on your goals.
Hmm.
Yeah. If you're ready to grow, like I've seen companies, I worked with an e-commerce company and we sold out a product.
Wow.
Yeah. So they weren't, you know, ready as they could have been. Think about like if you're like if you were using it to generate leads for yourself and to build your email list.
Right.
Well, what are you doing with that email list? What purpose does it have? Once you have those emails,
That's true.
you have the game plan mapped out. You know, don't collect the emails and then not do anything with them, because then it's just wasted money. Because if people come on your email list, as you know, you need to interact with them right away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's so true with anything. Like even if it's an
Yeah.
organic ad, so many people I know are in business and they're putting content out, but they're not taking action on, you know, that interaction with any client. So you can put out all the best stuff. You can gain as many followers as you want. And if you're not converting anything, then you're not technically in business yet. Star, I would love to hear your input and to see how, you know, Dr. Teresa can kind of, you know, put some underlining value with that as well in regards to, you know, you probably have, because we're all in a service or in some product business as well, but you probably have the largest out of our group in regards to a physical product that you ship, I mean, what's your experience, Star, with paid versus organic and everything that you've been doing?
Yeah, so my story is a little bit different. I really grew my business locally in Southern California. So I have a huge, I was talking to Tina about that yesterday. I have a huge following in SoCal. So I have a huge spillover of that who automatically go to my store. So I have traffic every day without having to run ads. But with that being said, I have spent money on ads for that specific business. And what I found is that the people that I hired to do the ads, I have that spend that I have to pay them to manage the ads 2-3
Right.
times a month or whatever. Then for me, I have the cost of goods sold, and I do sell a luxury item, so it is not like the cheapest thing where some people may make something for $5 and they're able to sell it for 30 or 50 or whatever.
Right. Right.
So I found that I was going in the negative with that. But I've also
Mm.
done ads using software and tools where companies are like, okay, we can do retargeting ads for you
Mm.
through our system where we kind of pick up your Shopify viewers or buyers and then they retarget them. So I have invested in those types of ads where it's kind of automated versus us manually doing them or hiring
Yeah.
someone to do them. And those have performed.
Oh, good. Good. Because what I'm finding is like when you said that it was difficult to pay for the service and, you know, mainly having somebody take care of the ads, you've got that cost of goods sold in there.
Yes. And then you have
Yeah.
the fee to
And
pay for everything, the processing fees. And if they finance the hair, you've got to pay for that. So I just didn't find that it was like super beneficial for me.
Mm.
And sometimes it's not. And it's very important to know your cost of goods sold. There's one gentleman that I worked with that he did not know his average order value.
Oh,
He
okay.
knew his cost of goods sold, but he did not know his average order value. Yeah.
Interesting.
And yes, and when I went back and did some research with his office worker, his office manager, we found that he had a very low average order value. It was like $47, and we had to raise it up to at least $79, or the ads would just make him go broke.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you've got to know, like in regards to your question, Christine, of who is this for? You know, it's like, well,
Mm.
you've got to know your numbers. You've got to know what you can afford.
Mm.
A lot of it comes down to the CPA, the cost per acquisition, or the cost per lead. Like, for example, I know when I run ads for myself for leads, I'm looking at between $10 and $15 per lead. So
Got
if I want 100 leads, I'm going to spend what, $1,000.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that makes
I had that. Yeah,
that makes sense. And I like, I think Christina, you may have brought that up, or maybe it was Tina. I'm not
was
sure.
it Tina?
You
I'm
talked
so
about
sorry.
like just experimenting. I love that idea at a low cost. And
Yes.
also think about the value of that. So even when people are like, oh, well, I mean, paid advertising, I don't know, $5 a day, as you mentioned, to
Yes.
test something out. It's $150 for the month.
Yeah.
And what is your time? You know, like how much do you equate your hourly rate to $150? And so sometimes advertising, even at a low price point, may just free up your day. Like may just take a headache. If anything, just kind of take that, that pain point off of your desk, because I know that we spend a lot of time with clients. Now, if you're all of a sudden your own marketing agency, you can spend half of your week delving into that, dealing with that, responding to that, correcting that. I mean, I'm only saying that because I know it's something that I have definitely been on the roller coaster ride for. So, I like that. I like being able to test things out, and you may find, as you just stated, it's not worth it, or it may
Right.
be worth it, especially if you can scale it, right?
Yes. And don't scale until you know it works.
Mm.
And when you do scale, well, you can scale two ways. You can either scale financially by increasing the amount you're spending every day. Don't increase it more than 20%.
Right.
You know, I've seen people increase, unless it's like you're running leads for a webinar or a webinar registration, and you only have 7 days. Yeah. Then once you've got the ad working, and take 2 weeks before that to make sure your ad's going to work.
Right.
Then scale it hard, like the last 4 days before your webinar.
Oh, I love that. We just had this conversation yesterday, by the way, which is why this is so timely.
I love it.
We have a major, and I mentioned some of this to you as well, that we have a major mastermind in 2024. And we're, there's a lot of mechanics, a lot of things to put together for this. And so we're like, we need to start now. Like, we need to start testing some things out now and figuring this out, because it's going to be really hard to scale something to that magnitude, right? Especially at that price point. It's not like we're just selling a $200 course. So
yeah, and bear in mind, right now, because of the holiday season, from now until about mid-December, the advertising costs will rise. So you may have an ad working at $20 a day this week, and next week it doesn't do as well because the expense went up.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, they call that the CPM, the cost per 1,000 people.
I'm glad you brought that up. And I see Star nodding her head because she's like, oh, I feel that. I feel that pain here, that increase. We did talk a lot about that, with Black Friday specials and all the things that you can do to campaign around that. So
yeah, now here's the good news. By about the midweek of December, those ad costs plummet. They go into a deep dive until about mid-January. And that's the best time to test. That's the best time to get leads in. Costs, everything goes way down. You got 30 days in there. So
Lisa, I work with a lot of people who launch books. I help people write and sell,
Oh, awesome.
books. And a lot of them are like immediately thinking Facebook ads. And a couple of my clients have taken it to the Facebook ads, get my book for free, just pay shipping.
Yeah.
What do you think about selling a book on Facebook?
I think it works. I know it works if you have a high-end product on the back end.
Okay.
A book alone doesn't work. It's too expensive. You'll go broke.
Right.
There's no point.
Okay.
So your book is essentially top of funnel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And either do your free plus shipping and handling offer, or do your low end offer, $30, $40, and then have a high end offer on the other side of that.
Like a mastermind or a ticket or something that you're going to sell. Look at Tyler Watson's book. We've talked about him, right? The Alignment Effect. That book was written as a lead magnet. And there's a lot of people that'll write, 100 to 200 pages as a lead magnet. And then the ads behind
which is why, even the one that I've been working on for a while now, it essentially, it leads them to that next step, right?
Yeah.
They always say that, and Tina, all about this, but it's like, your book is the new business card. Essentially you give a lot of those away for free. Yeah. But there should be something like an end result or something else that comes from that. So
Does that help, Tina?
Oh yeah, definitely. So, I tell them all the time, because you can buy your books on the back end for $2 or $3. Now, and I tell them too, now listen, you're gonna have to ship us. Like Amazon cannot be a part of this. You're going to have to physically ship and mail and box every single one of these books. And if they're on
done that.
And but I'm all about like value add with anything that I've ever done, right? And so what I love about that idea around, we're just using the book as an example, but it can be anything.
Yeah.
It could be a bracelet that costs $1.50, but the whole point behind it is, if you buy this from me, I'm going to autograph it. I'm going to include a link to one of my courses.
Yeah.
You get to spend 1 hour with me through a coaching session. All of a sudden, right? Like that book package becomes a $600 value. And then that's essentially what really adds the value to that book. So
exactly. It's not the $30. Yeah.
If you look at it this way, I would love you to answer this question. If we were going to put on like a lead magnet, like a workshop or a free webinar, would it be worth putting traffic behind a Facebook ad to that webinar where you're going to upsell them to something else?
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
And you see it as the bigger picture as opposed to, okay, we're driving people to this free event. That's kind of your get to know you event. And then you can sell your mastermind or your program on the back end of that.
Exactly. And when you're selling on a webinar, do know what your numbers are. Okay. So here you go. So let's say you collect 100 emails. I'm just going to use round numbers. And they all say they're going to come to the webinar. So 100 people have said they're going to come. 33% of them show up.
Right.
That's standard.
Yeah.
That's
so
standard.
true. So true.
Yeah. So look at your numbers and know if you can close 50% of the room, you've got 15 people.
Right.
That's unusual, close to 50%.
Right.
It usually closes
at a high level.
Right. Exactly. So know your numbers going into that kind of a scenario. But yes, running ads to a webinar is ideal. And it does work.
That running ads to free versus paid webinars or workshops work better? Which
Not necessarily. It all depends on, like, again, your numbers. Like if it's a free workshop and you've got a back end offer and how many people you need to purchase that to cover the cost of your ads and make a profit, Yeah. And
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in other words, if we're running, I'm using the mastermind, of course, as an example for all those that are tuning in later on, right? You're going to be hearing
Keep
a lot more about this.
too, because we have a special announcement.
Yeah, we have.
Watch your local Facebook ad.
Yeah. By the way, but in mention Dr. Teresa for a discount. No.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. So in other words, you put the money into the ads up front for free, like a free webinar.
Yes.
You send it out to 1,000. 100 people show up to the actually to the free webinar, and in hopes that you're getting maybe even 10 to purchase.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Go.
Well, we're all covered because Star has 500 million people in her network.
No.
So we're
We got you.
Go Star.
She just surpassed 100,000 people on her
In her Facebook group.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's so exciting.
Well, that's organic, but that's also a very broad niche, and that's why I do love ads. I'm so excited about your topic. The list building for me, I'm thinking about going into another niche, so I've been testing, and I've got like 1,000 leads already in what I consider to be very low ad spend. Whereas if I were to pay my VA, or I'm working on building another audience on Facebook, that's time consuming. And also it's like, I don't want to confuse my current existing audience if I'm doing something different too. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's true. You don't want to advertise 2 different offers at the same time to the same audience. It does get confusing. So you're smart, Star. Build a different audience. Yeah, that's very smart. And one of the thoughts on that webinar, do know the lifetime value of your client.
Oh,
yeah.
That's true.
Out of those 10 people that purchase, maybe 2 of them become clients for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yes. That is so true. That is so true. So again, there will be people that come on and they're watching this on replay later. If you have questions for us or Dr. Teresa, even if it's in the replay, please leave them in any of the comments on our platforms. Because we would love to be able to forward those on and make sure that you have those in front of you. You can get back to them, answer some of the other questions that they may have. But you can contact Dr. Teresa Pantanella directly if you would like to schedule just a meeting, kind of overall with her. You can reach her at doctorofads.com. Or you can go to rightawayleads.com, which has more information about some of the programs and things that you offer and services. You do have, and just because of the sake of time, I wanted to make sure that we at least covered, you do have an event coming up next week, is it?
Yes. I have a workshop series that I'm starting called the Facebook Ad Measurement Method. And I'm diving into a 5-step framework that focuses on how to measure the components of an ad, the headline, the copy, the graphic, the video, how to test out what those combinations should be, and picking out one that's going to be cost effective and rings well with your audience.
Excellent.
So
I was going to say, that I know that you've supplied us with a link. We'll make sure that it's added to all of our comments on our social. And then you'll definitely, see us involved in supporting you as well. And I just, again,
I'd love to have you. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, I just, I appreciate you being on the show today. We're going to learn so much. We're going to be collaborating together on a lot of different things. And I didn't even say this in the beginning, but I'll just mention, I really appreciate the fact that you did this with almost no preparation. So you came on our show. We told you kind of the last minute. I talked in kind of, future tense of, maybe we could have you on our show. And then next thing you know, in about 5 minutes, I was like, would you like to be on our show tomorrow? So we do appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And for me, I love the Facebook ads, and I've been teaching it for so long now that it was natural for me to come on board and support all of you with today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was amazing.
Yeah, we're going to be learning a lot more.
I have 2 pages of notes, and I don't ever take notes.
I love it. I love it.
we're going to be learning a lot more from you along the way, and with some of the things that we have coming up in 2024, we're going to need your help. So just consider
yes.
yourself kind of on board for that.
You are officially an uncensored entrepreneur.
I love it.
Yes, exactly. So for those, again, that are just tuning in, follow, like, and share us. We're continuously growing, trying to bring more value, bringing amazing guests like Dr. Teresa on our platform. We are migrating, still working through some of the bugs, but we're migrating into the world of podcasting as well. So our live shows will also, you'll be able to find us on all mainstream podcasts. But follow, like, and share us, facebook.com. Uncensored Entrepreneurs, and across many other platforms. We do appreciate your time. And I see one more comment I'll just throw up.
Mom.
There you go.
Look,
we have to end with some love from your mother. So thank you so much, Cheryl. We do appreciate that.
Thanks, Mom.
So
Thanks,
again, thank you for your time. We will be talking real soon. And once again, oh, sorry. I just glitched out. And once again, follow us across social media at Uncensored Entrepreneurs. Have an awesome day. Thank you all.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.